Kakadosh Boker Tov, Chodesh Tov. We started speaking about yesterday in Ilchot Netilat Yadayim Siman Kuf Samech. We were talking about waters which changed its appearance, and we mentioned that water that changes its color, whether it's because of a dough of a type of a dew of an ink that falls inside of it, or whether it's going to be because it fell in or something else, or even if the color changed due to the fact that it was in a container for a very, very long period of time, it becomes pasul for netilat yadayim. Here it actually brings down, this is based upon a Mishnah, but the different reason is either because it's brought down in the Ra'ah that it's compared to Kiddush Yadayim Raglaim, which means that remember that all the halachot of netilat yadayim anyway had to do with the Kohanim. And therefore, in the Bet HaMikdash, when the Kohanim used to do the service in the Bet HaMikdash, they had to do what's called Kiddush Yadayim Raglaim, which means they would put one hand with one foot under the kior and the kan over there, and then they would come and they would wash their hand and their feet, and then the other one they would do the exact same thing. And we know that the Kohen Gadol would also do this every single time, whether it's going to be any time that any Kohen would do a service in the Bet HaMikdash, they would do this. But on Kippur especially, they did many different types. Not only the Tevilot, they did a lot of the Kiddush Yadayim V'Raglayim. Now what happens is that since over there the water, there's a word written, an extra word, mayim, right? And therefore, since it's superfluous, so therefore you have an extra word teaching us that it has to be water and not anything else. So therefore, if you have water which changes its appearance due to any other dye or color, so therefore what happens is it becomes disqualified. There is another reason brought down also in the Rishonim, that they learn it from the Mei Chatat, the waters of the Paraduma, that when they're going to come and they're going to purify, remember a person that becomes Tamemet, nowadays we are all Tamemet, and therefore since we came into contact with the deceased, so therefore we cannot go on to Harabait or any other places, because we don't have the water of the mixed with the ashes of the Paraduma and then sprinkled upon us. So therefore we are all Tamemet. So therefore, just like over there by the Mechatat, the waters of the Chatat, it had to be that it cannot have any other appearance. So too also waters for Netilat Yadayim, that we are purifying ourselves, whether it's going to be because of what happened in the Mishka of the Bet HaMikdash, the Truma, and that's the reason why we do Netilat Yadayim nowadays, so that way the Kohanim, when Bezrat Hashem, the Bet HaMikdash will be speedily built in our days, they will remember what it is to do Netilat Yadayim, not to have any problems with the Truma, making it a Shlishi into a Truma, because the hands become a Sheni, that was a Gzirav Shlomo Melech. So therefore the same thing, we're going to remind ourselves that the water itself also has to be kosher for Netilat Yadayim. How's it kosher for Netilat Yadayim? Number one, that it cannot have an external or any other type of an appearance. That is going to be, or because the second reason, which is which means we want to become holy. Holiness comes through purity, and therefore what happens is that we have to make sure that there's not going to be any other color or any other appearance. If right now there was an appearance which actually comes and disqualifies it, and then afterwards it goes back to its original form, now it's going to be kosher for Netilat Yadayim, because the Isur was only that right now when you're doing the Netilat Yadayim, it actually has a bad color. However, though, if the color actually disappears, or it was mixed with other colors, and now all of a sudden it goes back to its original appearance of water, now it goes back to its original form of kashrut, that now it's kosher to be used for Netilat Yadayim. There was also a difference between Netilat Yadayim and Tevilat Yadayim. What's the difference between Netilat Yadayim and Tevilat Yadayim? If you remember, we mentioned, right, that whenever a person has an opportunity, for example, let's say they're on a boat, right, they're in the middle of the sea. Now, to do Netilat Yadayim from water of the sea is actually problematic, because it has to be fitting for consumption, for drinking. If it's very salty waters, so therefore not even a dog will come, they'll start drinking this water, so therefore it's not kosher for Netilat Yadayim. But it's still going to be kosher for Tevilat Yadayim. What is Tevilat Yadayim? That you come and you dip your hands in the water, and by dipping your hands in the water, and yesterday, if you remember, we brought down, or last week we brought down, that there was a machloket, you have to do it only once, or still, al pi Kabbalah, you do it 3 times, but once, according to the halacha, once you put both hands into the water, and that's called Tevilat Yadayim, you've dipped your hands in the water, that is instead of Netilat Yadayim, and that's even better, and you don't have to do anything else. And then you come and you make the beracha, again, according to Maran, and even according to the Ashkenazim, we make the beracha of Al Netilat Yadayim, and we do not make the beracha of Al Tevilat Yadayim or Al Shtifat Yadayim. We come, we dip our hands in the water, you don't have a keli, you don't have a utensil, or you don't have any other thing or other water that you're able to use. What you do is you just go to by the sea, you dip your hands in the water, you do Tevilat Yadayim, and then that's it. To do a Tevilat Yadayim, just like if you would come into the body of water, let's say the sea, or a river, a stream, right? It's not going to become impure, meaning it's always going to be a kosher Tevilah even if the color is not the original color, which means, for example, let's say the water is very greenish, but it doesn't matter. You're able to come and you're able to do tevilah in that water. So too, for tevilat yadayim, it does not become disqualified for the fact that it's going to be with a different color. The only time it will become disqualified is if it's going to be in a mikveh. That there, shinui mar'eh in a mikveh, meaning the change of appearance of water, will disqualify in a mikveh if it's going to be a different color. There, it will not help to do tevilat yadayim. However, as long as for the body, it's always going to be kosher to do tevilah, which means we're going to immerse ourselves in the entire body into the water. It's going to be kosher. So to do with tevilat yadayim, it will also be kosher, even though it will change its appearance. So this is just very, very important to remember, because sometimes a person is stuck in a scenario where he cannot do netilat yadayim. He's on a boat. He forgot that he doesn't have any keli or anything to do netilat yadayim with, and all of a sudden, but he's got the sea right in front of him. So he comes and he dips his hands in the water. He makes a beracha al netilat yadayim, and that's it. And then he's able to eat the bread. And technically, mitzad dadin, you don't even have to dry your hands. Because remember, you only have to dry your hands after netilat yadayim and not after tevilat yadayim, right? But again, according to the Kabbalah or others, you should try always to dry your hands. But mi'ikar adin, you do not need to. So this is just the different halachot. And Bli Nether, right now that we finished speaking about the change of color, then Bli Nether will speak about whether it's going to be a melacha being done with the water, which also will disqualify the water also as well.